40 AI agents, 3 books, 36 chapters, all from one prompt. This is what came back. Kimi AI ships agent swarms, parallel AI agents that work on the same job simultaneously and talk to each other while they work. Most demos point one agent at one task and call it a day. That's not a swarm, that's a chatbot with extra steps. Today, the swarm builds the indie author income series. 3 nonfiction books that escalate. Your first 1,000 books sold, your first $10,000 year, and your first full-time income. And about halfway through this, the swarm catches itself making a major mistake. Twice. Wait for it. First job, though, is research. 3 agents, 1 per book. Each one pulls 30 plus web sources, identifies the failure points for that career stage, and finds case studies of indies who actually broke through at that level. The swarm pulled real indie author case studies. Names you might know. Amanda Hawking, Lindsay Baroker, Hugh Howey, Michael Anderle, Mark Dawson, Lucy Score, Kat Mason, each with specific numbers attached. Baroker went from $50 a month at 1 book to over $5,000 a month at 4 books. Anderle published 3 books in 21 days and hit $10,000 in 90 days. Real authors, real arcs. And here's what single agent demos can't do. While the 3 agents researched their separate books, they were also writing in a shared file. The cross-book hooks, topics each book owns that the other 2 should reference. 5 hooks per book, 15 total, plus 5 bidirectional themes that thread through all 3. Time on the research stage, about 11 minutes. 3 full briefs that talk to each other, but research is easy. Outlines, especially for 3-book series that all make sense, a lot of AIs simply fall apart. Same swarm, new job. Agents pick up the research briefs. Book 1's table of contents first. Agents 5 and 6 read that locked TOC before building theirs. So books 2 and 3 are built knowing what book 1 already covered. And check this out. Book 3 just wrote a call out to book 2, chapter 5. They're cross-referencing each other while they're still drafting. Not bracketed footnotes, actual one-sentence references built into the prose. That's the swarm flex. And the swarm did something I didn't ask for. It built anchor concepts, single named ideas that each book owns. Book 1 owns the series funnel framework. Book 2 owns the catalog multiplier effect. Book 3 owns the backlist math. The other books reference these anchors by name. The series feels like it was built by one author with one teaching philosophy, but it wasn't. It was built by the swarm. And here they are, 3 full outlines, 36 chapters, 12 per book, cross-reference, voice consistent, time about 14 minutes. All right, it's drafting time. The swarm splits into 11 waves of 3 agents each. It's really cool to see. Simultaneously. Then chapter 3, then 4, wave after wave until all 33 remaining chapters are done. I'll spare you the wait. Roughly 2 hours later, 90,000 words are on the table. 3 different audiences, 3 escalating books. The question isn't whether the swarm wrote words, because it absolutely did. It's whether those words are worth reading. Let me show you what I mean. Here's the opening of book 1. In the spring of 2010, a 26-year-old aspiring novelist named Amanda Hawking needed $300. Not for an editor, not for a cover designer, not for Facebook ads or a BookBub feature deal. Hawking needed $300 so she could take a trip to see a Muppets exhibition in Chicago. That's an AI agent opening a nonfiction book with a real author needing gas money to go see the Muppets. I would keep reading that book. That's a really good hook. And book 2's opening. In December 2010, Lindsay Baroker published her first novel, a steampunk fantasy called The Emperor's Edge, and waited for the royalties to roll in. But I want you to catch something. This is the same author voice as book 1. Different stage of the journey, but same teaching style. Open with the person, drop a number, let it sit. That's craft consistency. And finally, we have book 3's opening. Sarah opened her KDP dashboard on January 2nd the way she always did. Coffee in one hand, mouse in the other, that little flutter of hope in her chest. The number at the top of the dashboard read $28,470. $28,000 from book sales? She should have been thrilled. Book 3 shifts to a composite character, Sarah, doing the kitchen table math. That's the moment where part-time success isn't enough yet and the gap to full-time income is real. The swarm built a psychological scene to anchor that emotion. A lot of authors have felt. Remember what I told you to watch for? The swarm catching its own mistakes? Well, here they are. Book 1, Chapter 2 was titled 5 Traps for New Indie Authors. The drafting agent wrote it. The QA agent reviewed it and flagged a problem. The chapter promised 5 traps. It delivered 4. So the QA agent dispatched a fix agent to add a 5th trap, called Ignoring Your Back Matter. The chapter title now matches the chapter content. The reader will never know the difference. But that's mistake number 1. There was even a humor arc judgment, because the QA agent noticed book 1 was humorous. Book 3 was more grounded. Book 1 has a writer talking about Muppets and gas money. Book 3 has Sarah staring at her KDP dashboard wondering if she can quit her job. Then determined the shift was intentional arc progression. Writer to author entrepreneur to CEO of a publishing business. 3 identities, 3 voices, deliberate. And that's real editorial judgment from the Swarm. Quick thing before we get to the launch agents. The master prompt I just ran is in the new Kimi Swarm book blueprint on Ko-Fi. Swap your own series in, run it, link below. Okay, back to the Swarm. The last job for the Swarm: covers, back matter, sales pages, email sequences, a 30-day launch calendar for all 3 books. Treat it as a coordinated series. The launch strategist built a real plan. 3 sales pages, 15 emails, 5 per book. A welcome, a value, another value, a pitch, and a last call. A 30-day calendar that doesn't just launch 3 books, it sequences them. Day 7 of Book 1's launch sends an email to existing buyers about Book 2's pre-order. Day 21 of Book 2's launch pitches Book 3. The Swarm built a cross-book funnel without being told to. You can get all 3 books in a bundle on my Ko-Fi. That link is also in the description. Let's talk about the series closer callback. The Swarm did one more thing I didn't ask for. Let me show you. Book 1 opens with a chapter titled, Most Books Die in the Dark. Here's Why Yours Won't. Book 3, Chapter 12, the final chapter of the series, opens with this line. Most books die in the dark, but not yours. Not anymore. Same opening image, different ending. Across 36 chapters and 90,000 words, the Swarm built a deliberate framing device, a callback, the kind of structural craft you'd expect from an experienced author plotting a series. And it closes the series with this line. Now go write the next book. Your readers are waiting. Okay, but what's the verdict? Here's what worked for me. The coordination is real. Cross-book hooks written as natural prose, not bracketed citations. Voice consistent across 36 chapters. Named anchor concepts. The series funnel framework. Catalog multiplier effect. Backlist math. Each owned by one book and referenced by all the others. There's real case studies, real numbers, and 6 self-corrections caught and fixed mid-run, including an editorial judgment call about intentional voice arc that I genuinely am still surprised about. But what broke? Because let's be real, the Swarms aren't perfect yet. The Swarm still has AI tails if you don't constrain it. The 5 traps mistake means you can't trust chapter titles to match chapter content without a QA pass. Chapter word counts came in a hair short of target, and the launch plan overweights email. If your audience lives anywhere else, you should probably adjust the prompts by hand. What it actually saves you is a research outline draft launch pass that would take a solo author 3 to 6 months by hand. The Swarm did it in roughly 6 hours. Kimi might not be the model you're using 6 months from now, and that's fine. Because what you watched today wasn't a Kimi feature, it was a pattern. Decompose by role, share state through one file, lock the foundation before you send out parallel agents. Build in self-correction. Use anchor concepts to hold everything together. 5 principles, 5 different AIs that can run them. Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or really any local model you can orchestrate. The engines change every quarter. The architecture doesn't. The thing I keep coming back to watching this Swarm work, it didn't write 3 books because Kimi is smart. It wrote 3 books because the architecture was right. We spend, and maybe waste, so much time talking about which AI is best. The better question maybe is, which structure lets any AI do its best work? That's the real shift. Not the model, the method.